Hi everyone, my name is Jennifer Stae and I have 28 different white color pencils to try. I am so excited to show you how each of them look on black paper. And at the end, I'm going to pick out my 3 top favorites and my 3 not so favorites and tell you why I've picked them. I'm also going to show you a few awesome tips on how to use your white pencils. So let's get started. So here I've drawn a circle, and with this pencil, I'm going to do a light gradient above and then just work it down to as deep and as heavy of a pigment as I can get out of this pencil towards the bottom. So we'll do that for each of the 28 pencils, and that will give me a feel of how good each pencil is. Is it highly pigmented? Does it feel slippery? All those things are important to know. So you can see with just 3 pencils that we've started with here, we're already getting a big difference between the results. So this is the Prismacolor Color Race line. Since it has a special quality that it's supposed to be erasable, I decided I better test that out a little bit and see if that's true. So there is a little bit colored down with an erased spot to see how it does. Okay, so we got the first row done. We can already see a big variety of results in each of these pencils, and that is just the first 5 pencils. We have 23 more to go, so you can see why I'm excited to perform these tests. The little white pencil is a very powerful tool in the colorist's arsenal, so it's kind of an important thing to know about. So let's keep going. Okay, so all the color swatching is complete, and I apologize, our camera cut out and that's why we didn't get all of them filmed for you. But we can show them here for you now, and you've seen the first page, so I'm going to just hold this still for a minute so you can take a minute to look at them. If you want to see them up close, there's a link in the video description that can take you straight to my blog, where I'll have photographs of these finished charts for you to look at. So this is the first page. And I'm excited for you to give me your feedback below. Which one of these is your favorite, and which one do you think performed the poorest? And here is the page you didn't get to see completed. So I'll let you take a good close look at that. And I am going to move it in the light a little bit because that will change your impression too. I am ready now to reveal to you which ones are my favorite, but we are going to start out with the ones that I think are my 3 least favorite, and this is mainly determined on, first, which ones didn't even perform as far as I couldn't even get a gradient. There didn't seem to be a difference between the lightest and the darkest. Which ones felt really muddy and couldn't even really lay down a smooth coverage. These are the kinds of things I was looking for as I was coloring. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and reveal to you the 3 white pencils that I don't think performed good in this test. Okay, so the first pencil that I want to mention, and this one was a surprise to me that didn't perform well, this one is the Spectrum Color Blend White. So I'm going to write that here. Now, the biggest reason why this made it into this list was because I felt like I couldn't achieve a good gradient between the light to the dark. And that will be displayed here as I color out this oval. When you're coloring with white, one of the situations that you might want to use a white would be to create a highlight on something you're coloring. And so in order to create that highlight, you're going to need a really highly pigmented pencil. And so as I was coloring, that's what I was looking for. And this Spectrum color blend just didn't seem to be able to do that. It almost comes across metallic. I'll move it in the light here once I get it laid down. Now the Spectrum color blends are a very smooth pencil. I like them for that, and as a whole the other pencils have a lot of really pretty colors and are fun to color with. So keep in mind we're just analyzing the white pencil alone here today. That's important to note. Now, a lot of these pencils I'm going to be showing you, you can buy singly or open stock, which is fun because if you have a set of other pencils and you just want one really good white pencil, you can do that. So let me move that in the light and you can see what I mean by it being almost metallic. And you don't really ever get a true bright white feeling out of it. So that's why the Spectrum color blend made the 3 low picks list for me. Okay, the next one on this list is the Twistable Crayola White. Now, twistables aren't my favorite. I have a lot of problem with the cores breaking. I don't like the sound they make. I'm going to be quiet for a second so you can hear it. They're really noisy. I'm constantly twisting them, which I think is a pain. And then they go on so inconsistently for me, almost with a crayon-like consistency. So I never can get a good blend. And it also, I've never felt like it really came on truly white. Again, it's almost clear, translucent type feeling. So that's why the Crayola Twistable is on my 3 low picks list. I'm sorry, I can't even write with these. When you try to write with them, the core twists back up into itself. Okay, that's as good as it's gonna be. Okay, and now my top pick for the worst of the whites is the Cra-Z-Art White. All right, as I'm coloring this out, you're going to see the same sort of problem as I've been talking about. It's very translucent. I'm not going to be able to really get a very good white, and these just don't blend or lay down very nicely. So that's why Cra-Z-Art made it onto this list. Okay, so I wasn't too surprised that the Cra-Z-Art made this list. It's a, sort of a school brand that you buy for your kids and you don't worry if they drop them or lose them at school. They're just for fun for kids to play around with. This is not an artist grade type pencil. As we move over here to the top picks, we are going to find that every pencil on this list is an artist grade pencil. And there's a reason they make this list. They are high pigmented, beautiful pencils, and you're going to see a huge difference between this side and this side of this chart. So before we hit this side though, I have a couple pencils that are going to make my honorable mention list. Okay, this is the Faber-Castell Polychromos. Now some of you might be surprised that this one didn't make the top 3. But I don't think you're going to be surprised once you see how beautiful the top 3 are. But it is an honorable mention, and mainly because it goes down so smooth and pretty, and you can create a good gradient. There is a light and a dark. I guess you can call white dark, but there is a darkness or a more opaque end to the gradient. So that's really good. There were so many in the 28 that just came in the middle. Everywhere from a Crayola line that is pennies per pencil to a more expensive line in the middle range. So I was surprised by that. You would think the more money you spend, the better the pencil, and that should always be true, right? Well, it's not necessarily the case when it comes to white pencils, so I'm glad to be doing this test for you. So let me finish up this oval. Okay, the second to make my honorable mentions list is this white pencil by a new company to me. I think you pronounce it Bruynzeel. I'm not sure. It's a company out of Holland, and I don't know much about them. I know that you can get some of their pencils open stock. I've seen it on dickblick.com. They're about $1.70 per pencil. And I was surprised. I didn't expect them to make it onto my honorable mention list, but you can get a good gradient, a light to a more opaque white. So that's why this cute little white pencil has made it onto my honorable mention list. Look at this nice deep white we're getting right here. Very pretty. Okay, and the third and final pencil on my honorable mention list is the Caran Pablo White. And it is stunning. I had a hard time not putting this on my top three. You're going to see here as soon as I start leaning in and putting some pressure on the bottom to get the most deepest pigment, you're going to see how beautiful. It almost looks like a pastel or a chalk. So I had a hard time. I almost wanted to add a fourth slot into my top picks for the Caran Pablo. All right, my third favorite of my top three picks is my beloved Prismacolor Premier white pencil. So if you follow me here on my YouTube channel, you know that I really like my Prismacolor pencils, and one of the reasons I like them is because they're so high pigmented and because they're so creamy. They're a wax-based pencil. They go down really thick and creamy, and that I think is reason why this white pencil is performing so well. Look at this as I start to lean into the bottom of this oval. We get beautiful results. So pretty. Now, when we looked at the charts, I honestly tried not to be biased. I am a Prismacolor girl, and so I really wanted to see, does my Prismacolor White stand up with the other ones? And it really does come in third place here. It did earn its spot on my top picks. Okay, as I finish up this oval, I wanted to mention that we did have the tip of this Prismacolor pencil break when I did the first sphere. And typically if you sharpen your Prismacolor pencils to an extremely sharp point, they may break on you like that. But once you get them going, they don't break. I don't have my Prismacolors break. They almost never break for me. So, but when I do sharpen them super sharp, that tip will break on me because these are such a nice soft core. The trade-off is you get these beautiful laydowns when you use a soft core pencil like the Prismacolor Premier. All right, are you ready to hear what my number 2 top pick is? I think you're going to be surprised because I was. Here we come. Okay, so the surprise to me on the top 3 picks was this Derwent Coloursoft White. I have a small set of these that I don't color with very often, and I think I need to pull them out and use them more because look at this gorgeous even coverage we can get. And now as I start to lean in and do the more opaque end of the gradient, look how gorgeous this white is. Amazing. I know Derwent has a lot of different lines, and I've chosen to stick with the Coloursoft with this series of tests that I'm doing because it's not water soluble. And I cannot wait to get my hands on more of the Derwent pencils, because if they are as stunning as this white, then I think I'm in for a treat. Okay, now looking back at my Prismacolor, these two ovals, they look pretty close, so maybe they tied for second. Pretty neat that we have two such awesome pencils, and if you look at the prices, they are in the same category for price range too. So if you want to pick up a really good white pencil, these are really good options right here. Okay, let's reveal my top #1 pick for white pencil. All right, if you've done any research on color pencils, then I don't think you're going to be surprised that the Caran Luminance pencil made my #1 pick. These are amazing pencils. They are a very high-end artist grade pencil. This company has put a lot of time and money into making these very light, fast, and they're really geared toward artists. So that makes them very pricey. As you can see, we've gone a huge price jump, $1.25 way up to $4.09 per pencil. But are you ready to see the beautiful effect we get when I start leaning into the bottom here? This is amazing. I think you could probably white out a mistake with this kind of pencil. It is so white. Now, a lot of artists will pick a line of pencils that they love, like say Prismacolor or Polychromos, and they'll purchase that line of pencils, and then they'll invest in just one of the Caran White Luminance pencils because it is such an outstanding white pencil. So that might be something you could do if you ever want to splurge and buy one of these pencils and give yourself the experience of such a high quality artist tool. The other thing that's outstanding about this Luminance pencil is the way it blends out. So fun to work with. Okay, now if you take a little look across the page and look back from our #1 pick to our least favorite pick, you can see the world of difference between a Cra-Z-Art pencil and a Caran pencil. But of course, you have to remember that for $4 you can probably buy an entire set of Cra-Z-Art pencils. So you really have to keep that balance in mind as you're picking out the kind of pencils you want to buy. Let me bring down our honorable mentions as well, because they really do, they have earned their place in this lineup. Okay, so here's the price ranges. The Caran are both the most expensive in my top 6 pencils, coming in at the Pablo at $256 and the Caran Luminance was $409. And then the others are all hanging around $1.70 and $1.25. I've got links to all of these 6 pencils in the description below. So if you'd like to go learn more about them and possibly purchase just one white pencil and try it out, then just follow those links and you can check them out. This was a lot of fun. Come check out my blog if you'd like to see closer up pictures of all of these awesome results that we got from this fun experiment. Now, I also want to mention that sometimes the photographs, they can't pick up the nuances of what I'm seeing here in the studio. So if you want to try and do a test like this for yourself at home, I highly encourage you, because you'll see things that at home that you can't see on photographs. Now, I'm done with the experiments. If you want to hang on for a minute here now, I want to show you one other trick you can use your white pencils for if you've been wondering what that white pencil is for in your set. If you found any value in this video, please remember to hit like and make sure you subscribe, because I've got lots more tests I'm going to be putting all of these brands of pencils through. So for now, let's do a little coloring, and I want to show you a trick you can use these white pencils for. Okay, I've grabbed 4 little Prismacolor pencils here, and I want to show you something you can do with your white color pencils. I know when I first started coloring, I always wondered, why do they even bother with including a white pencil? And now that I do a lot of coloring, I love my white pencils. In fact, I go through my white pencils quite quickly. They are usually the first ones that I end up reordering. Thank heavens we can do open stock reordering. Now, when you watch me do color pencil reviews, you see me use the white pencil for blending. If you haven't watched me do a review, then this is going to be a new trick for you. So what I'm going to do is lay down 3 colors that I know go well together. This is a trio of pencils that I put together and use often. I've shared these trios on other videos. I'll put a link to that video in the description below if you're interested in learning about my trios and the process I go through to create them. So what I do is I'll lay these trios down, and then I'll gently begin the blending process between the two, and just use that middle tone to help start the blending between the light and the dark tone. And then you can go to your white and use that white. I'm going to use my Prismacolor White since we're using Prismacolor pencils here, but really I could use my Luminance or my Derwent Coloursoft or any of the fun new ones that we've just discovered today. And the great thing about using the white to blend, look at this, how cool this is it almost stirs the pigments and the waxes and the fillers, and it stirs them all together and it lays them out over the paper, and it makes it look creamier and softer and oh, I don't know, yummier, and oh, I love blending with whites. That's why I go through my whites so quickly. So there you can see how you can use your white to blend. So if you're ever coloring and you feel like, ooh, I just laid down a color and it's a little too crazy dark, white is your best friend for that too. So here's a pretty bold blue. I'm going to do it kind of dark on this end and lighter down here. This is True Blue, Prismacolor again. Let's go ahead and use my Luminance now and see if I can use it to tone it down. Maybe I wish it was a lighter blue for my sky. Look how pretty. Look how it just blends and softens. Once you start using your white, I think you're going to be using it all the time. It's a great tool. I love my white pencils. So there are 2 quick ways you can use your white colored pencils in your coloring. I hope that helps. Thanks for sticking around for my hints. Have a wonderful, colorful day. Bye-bye.